Hey friends, welcome back to Rita Talks. I'm Rita, and on this YouTube channel, I just share some of the thoughts, ideas that I've been thinking about, some of the things that have been going on in my life. And in today's video, I want to talk about one thing specifically, which I've been thinking about a lot recently. Also, like I've been thinking about it for a while, but it's an idea that comes to me on and off, and basically it's the mathematical or like statistical justification behind reading books. And the reason for this is that all of the people that I look up to or really admire, it turns out that they all read a lot. So a recent example that I've heard about was Cal Newport. Apparently, all he did was read. Another one, obviously, I mean, I have not just heard about him, but I've known this for a while. But basically, Bill Gates, when he was growing up, all he did was read. Elon Musk is known for having read every book in his local library when he was super young. I don't remember the exact details of that. And Warren Buffett, all he does is read 3 to 4 hours a day. Same for the late Charlie Munger, and on and on and on. And basically, on social media, you can see this. Alex Hormozy has been talking about this in somewhat of a caricatural way, but basically, he's always saying that you don't need to read a certain amount of books. You don't need to do a specific morning routine. You don't need to do X, Y, and Z to make money. And that is true. It's not like an equivalent relationship, but I figured out that actually when you do read lots of books, obviously there's, as always, there's a middle ground to be found between reading and applying what you read. But basically he also talks about this idea of you don't need to read lots of books. You just need to reread the best books over and over again. But basically, I've been thinking about what's the mathematical argument that goes against this. And what bothers me about this idea is that to know what are the right books to read, you need to have a way of evaluating books. And the only way you can evaluate books is by reading a lot of books, and then at some point building some sort of baseline, some sort of model that allows you to say, when you start reading a book, this book is good, this book is bad, and basically developing this taste. And also, if you don't develop this taste yourself, then you're gonna have to outsource your taste. And basically, when you outsource your taste, it's as if you're basically putting something as important as what information comes into your mind, into someone else's hands. So, okay, let's say, Alex Hormozy is saying, you only need to read certain books over and over again, and he gives you a list of books. And the question is how, obviously there needs to be a lot of trust for people to take his word on this quality of books, but also this idea of not relying on your own judgment, but outsourcing your judgment is very dangerous, because it's what basically leads to somewhat extremist thinking, because you stop evaluating whether something is good or bad based on your own intuition and your own learnings, and start outsourcing that. And when you outsource it to someone, yes, you need a lot of trust to be able to outsource it to them, but basically that trust should not be a given, because basically people can be good for a long time, but if their goal was only to be good, to maybe serve their own interests or like promote something not good, then you have to have this way, this mechanism that allows you to say, okay, this person is no longer serving this purpose or this goal of being good, or I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but basically you need a way to determine what's good or not that's not reliant on someone else. You need it to be based on your own experiences and your own judgment. And the only way to do that, which is the hard way, is to learn a lot and develop your intuition and iterate over your intuition and be wrong a lot of times and be open to learning from being wrong, etc. And that's something that you can only do if you take in lots of information, if you somewhat get a sampling of what's out there and have a way of evaluating what's good from what's bad, like have some sort of system. It doesn't have to be an explicit system, it can just be, oh, this is boring, oh, this is interesting, like that's all it could be. Or this sounds like whatever this author is saying is sound from a logical perspective or is not sound from a logical perspective. It's basically the sort of critical judgment. And like if you look at it from I don't know, mathematical terms, or I've been thinking about it in machine learning terms, is that basically, so the whole premise of machine learning, like the current version at the time that I'm recording this, is that we're always trying to maximize the likelihood of a specific, like basically choose the outcome with the maximum likelihood. And this is what we call maximum likelihood estimation. And basically how this translates in mathematical terms is that y is the variable that you're trying to predict. So it could be the weather, it could be whether the stocks will go up or down. That's the variable that we're trying to predict, and we're trying to predict it based on x. And x is the features that you have access to that you will base your prediction on, but also on which you will somewhat train your model on, like if you're using train and test sets, basically. Without getting too much into I don't think I have much of a choice but to get into the terminology, but basically the whole principle of maximum likelihood estimation is that you're choosing basically the y, the prediction that you make, which is y hat, so the predicted y, will be the solution to the maximization problem of choosing the y out of all of the y's that are possible in the space of possible possibilities. So it could be like, if you're talking about the weather, it could be just like from 0 degrees, or like let's say 0 degrees Fahrenheit to, I don't know, infinite, I guess. And you can use that, like you're gonna have the like your prediction will be something from that world of possibilities, and basically you want to maximize the likelihood, the probability, so you choose the y with the highest probability, given the features, given x. So that's pretty much the optimization problem that we're solving for. And basically, using the bias rule, this p of y given x is equal to, like basically the bias rule says that p of y given x times p of x is equal to p of x given y times p of y, and p of x is basically the probability distribution, like the probability, like the probability, like it's the weighted probability of whichever x that you're given. So, like in the world of possibilities of x. I don't know if I'm making sense, but anyway. And basically, what reading books allows us to do is that for us humans, in order to make better decisions, which were basically the decisions that we're making, is that we're trying to maximize the. It's the same as an optimization, like the machine learning optimization problem. We're also trying to maximize the same entity. You're trying to predict what's going to happen given a specific set of features. Okay? And basically, like one assumption that's always made in machine learning is that P of X is uniform. But that's not always the case. And actually, it's almost never the case. So it's a wrong assumption. And that's why we can see with everything related to generative AI, everything is exploding because basically P of X is what we call the generative probability, because you understand the space of features, and that you leverage that understanding of the space of features to have a better prediction. And basically, understanding the space of features is like you do that through sampling. So in the case of generative AI, you let's talk about, for example, something like ChatGPT. It basically during its training phase, it just ingests lots and lots of text and gets an understanding of language in general from this corpus of text, this huge corpus of text, and basically it's able to have this like to have an accurate representation of this probability function of the space of possibilities. And the only way it's able to do that is by going through lots and lots of data. And basically the analogy to humans is that the only way we can have an accurate prediction of the future, regardless of whichever domain this prediction applies to, it's basically like basically the prediction, like having an accurate prediction is crucial to anything in our lives. Like you want to know if the person that you likes you or not, so you want to have an accurate prediction of whether they like you or not, because having an accurate prediction will ensure that you minimize basically the risk of asking them out. So basically, if you can tell with a pretty high certainty that they also like you, then you're more likely than to ask them out, because you view the risk of asking them out as lesser. But if you don't think that like your prediction in some sense tells you that they don't like you as much as you like them, then that informs your actions. Like this prediction of whether or not they like you will inform your actions of whether you're gonna ask them out or no. And the way to have an accurate prediction of whether they like you or not is by understanding human behavior, understanding body language, understanding them as a person, understanding psychology, and many different things, right? And basically, this knowledge that allows you to get a better prediction is knowledge that you can only gain from exploration and from basically exploring lots of data. And that's what reading books allows you to do. It allows you to get a better representation of the world. Like it allows you to learn the truth about the world in order to make better predictions, in order to make better decisions for your life. And that's how I view reading. And basically, for reading, it's amplified because the quality of, like, literally someone who's an expert, if someone who's an expert writes a book, it takes, like, they're an expert, right? It takes them years and years of experience to become an expert at whatever they're writing about. And not only that, it takes them about 3 years, or maybe more in some cases, to come up and distill all of their expertise into a book. And so basically, the reason that books are so effective in teaching us humans is that they have already gone through very, very, I don't know, fine information filters. And that means that basically the signal to noise ratio is very, very high. And basically also you want to read books with a very high signal to noise ratio. You don't want to read books who are repetitive, or whatever. But anyway, that's also like, it goes back to this Naval Ravikant quote that read what you like until you like to read. And basically you will start reading the good stuff as you learn to read, as you start to like to read. And that's how I view this. It's a way to sample the world. It's a way to build a better mental model of how the world works, in order to inform to have a more accurate prediction of what's likely to happen, and that's basically what allows us to make better decisions in our lives. And yeah, that's what I've been thinking about, like how, I've been thinking about this mathematical formula and how it applies to reading books and listening to podcasts and stuff. And that's the only way that I could, I don't know, make sense of it. And also, like, there is a high bias in books, like that the quality is much, much higher than, let's say, just getting random text from the internet, which actually ChatGPT does do, or at least the version that we have. Basically, the current version, GPT-4, is trained on all of the internet, basically, in on a huge corpus of data that's not necessarily cleaned, or that's not necessarily high quality. But nonetheless, it's like basically producing really high quality outcomes, but that's because of the computational power and the sheer scale of the kind of data that it can access. For us humans, we cannot scale our brains to process that much data, but the fact that the books that exist are very, very condensed, so they basically, in terms of information theory, they they bring lots of information to some sense. That means that we don't need as much data as what the current generative AI models are training on to get a pretty good understanding. Like, you get, let's say you're trying to learn about a topic. I don't know, you need maybe, like, if you know nothing on a topic and then you read one book about the topic, your knowledge went from 0 to 1, basically, and basically it's an infinite gain. And then the more books you read about the same topic, the more diminishing returns, but like in terms of information. But why I like to read multiple books about the same topics is that it allows me to find the commonalities, and those are the commonalities are usually the things that are right, basically. And it also serves as a reminders, because of course we are humans and we have we tend to forget about things, and so that's another reason that I like to read on multiple different topics. And you just need little nudges and little reminders to remind you of the important things that you need to focus on, etc. So yeah, that's those are my thoughts on why the people that I look up to all read extensively, and basically also trying to cultivate that behavior myself. So yeah, that's the mathematical I don't know, lens to why reading books allows you to make better decisions in your life, thus making you more successful in whatever you set out to achieve. If you want to make money, it will make you more money. If you want to live a healthier, happier life, then hopefully that will also be true. And yeah, depending on what you're optimizing for and the kind of books that you're reading, you're more likely to get closer to those things that you're optimizing for. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, so the one right before this one, or you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye for now, and I will see you in the next one, which I'm gonna film in a few days. Yeah, basically I'm gonna be traveling in a few hours, so it's 2:18 a.m. and basically I will be traveling tomorrow to Portugal to spend some time with my family there, and then I will be going to Morocco, so I will be gone for actually something like 18 days from here. So that's gonna be an interesting, I don't know, time, and it will be good to take a break from everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy my time away, and I will get back to filming these videos as soon as I'm back. So yeah, I hope you stick around. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I will just redo the outro because I might cut off the previous part, but yeah, let's just redo the outro. So thanks a lot for tuning in. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, so the one right before this one, or you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. I hope you have a fantastic rest of day, night, whichever time of day it is where you are right now. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!